So yes, I'm a researcher. I also identify as a creative as well. I don't know, I just like to say that I'm just me. I don't like limiting myself and like putting definitions and titles on like what I am.
What is the problem with like academic research in terms of like solving problems in real time, kind of contextualize and highlight kind of what is this gatekeeping?
Right. I think, especially in the field of psychology and research in general, I think it's more so the prestige of being published and being a researcher and writing and being in these prestigious journals, as opposed to actually like finding this data and actually using it in real life and solving these real life problems. And for me, there's a lot of, who has the most money, who has the grant money to actually do the research is another big roadblock, I think. But really it's more so like who is really helping these people and why are we actually doing this research? And for me, that was something that was asked of me, like, who are you doing this for? Because I kind of got caught up in the whole, I'm a researcher, I'm writing, but that it really stopped there. I was collecting data from people who were giving me like really rich information, but not really giving them anything back as like how to help. We can both reach each other to help and solve this problem. It was kind of just stopping with me. So I really wanted to like challenge myself and see like how can I provide myself to like really meet these people that I'm getting this information from and solving these actual problems in actual time. I think for me, I started research with like little to no information and like knowledge about what research was, and even like the field of psychology. And my mentor, who was a Black woman, really like took me under her wing and like kind of just threw me into these really like government funded projects. And for me, I think over the years of like growing as a researcher and learning, I feel like now I'm in the position of, I'm kind of looking around like, what are we doing? Like what are we actually doing besides writing and collecting all this information? And yeah, we're publishing and sharing, but these journal articles and these journal books are like $130, and on average. So it's like, if I'm writing towards like underprivileged groups and these journal articles are hundreds of dollars, who am I really writing for, So for me, I really had to question myself and see how I was kind of playing a role in the problem and seeing how I could like take myself out of that equation and kind of put myself into the world of, okay, like I'm taking this information and tools I have as a researcher and really addressing these problems in an actual way. As a creative, I've definitely seen just a lack of just like executing an actual idea is important. Like I've seen so many people with so much potential to have like these wonderful, beautiful ideas and not actually putting in the work to get them done. So I think for me, being an academic, I'm really used to like having to meet deadlines and having to organize my thoughts in a way that makes sense to everyone. Taking both my, skills as a creative and as an academic and taking the best of both worlds and meshing them to like really, share my thoughts and share the problems and like trying to share solutions with people. I don't think mental health is something new. I think we're actually ready to talk about it, and which is a great thing. I think with social media and just the internet in general now, we can talk to anyone over the world, and we're kind of realizing like, oh, we're all the same and we're all struggling. Great. So it's great that we're actually getting to talk about it. In a sense, it's like I think everyone's like, okay, now what? We're ready and we're ready to heal and ready to address like these generational, traumas and problems. But I don't think people necessarily have the tools or the resources even to do so. So for me, mental health is just like your overall well-being and your physical well-being. It's just as equally as important, your spiritual well-being. I think it's like your mental health is very like individualistic to me. Like it's very much like the person, and it can also be your community mental health. I think like I said, it's like a world problem that we're all ready to like talk about, which is great.
Tell us a little bit about R.O.W.
Right, so R.O.W. Actually came about in a conversation that I had. I was actually sharing how my resentment towards the angry Black woman stereotype and how I kind of felt like I have, there's so many things going on in the world and so much like violence towards myself just as to who I am, and I had a right to be angry about that, and having a stereotype placed against me because of that, really, I was just really resentful towards that. And someone mentioned to me, instead of being resentful, why don't you redefine like your identity and what being angry means, what being strong means, and that really resonated with me. So over time, I came up with R.O.W, which is redefining our womanhood, and I really wanted to take my skills as a researcher and my academic background and really kind of like getting away from the traditional European male-oriented version of what mental health professions have been, and really connecting with people. It's like, I'm not the expert of you are in your mental health, so how can we meet each other, as me as a researcher and with my background in mental health, how can I use my resources and meet you halfway, and you tell me, explicitly what you need, and we can provide what's best for you. Mental health it's very much based on, person by person, and it takes a community of people just to address such a big, thing. And for me, R.O.W is really important because even as, a graduate student in the world of psychology, like I can't afford a mental health professional on a weekly basis, and most people can't. A lot of my friends who are artists don't have healthcare, and to me, I really wanted to address that as well. It's like, yes, we're open to exploring our mental health and treating it and healing ourselves, but if we don't have the resources, the money or the time or the space, then how can we? And for me, Holyrad has really helped me bridge a space between my creative side and my academic side, and really taking an idea and actualizing it and addressing like every need, whether it be, legal needs, whether it be just like me coming into the space and like not knowing how to do something that I don't know. I've never, done a business before. I've never really had an opportunity to come in and bridge both my like academic side and my creative side. And I feel like usually a part of me is like left at the door, like if I'm, I have my research sense, it's like I'm just an academic person, and like a lot of my like artist friends don't even know I'm in school. So I think Holyrad is a really space where like I'm seen as, a whole person and like who I am. And I think that's really helped me like really bring my thoughts out to life, because I'm not limited in any way. I could be academic, I could be creative, and that's what R.O.W really, I think, represents. It's like this holistic approach to a business, and I feel like there's not really any other space where I could have really brought that to life.